Hey everybody, this is Benjamin Pate with mycbdoilsolution.com, and today we're going to discuss something fun: CBD oil and beer. And I'm not talking about putting CBD oil in beer. I'm talking about the astonishing connection between the two. So what is it? This is going to be a fun video. Let's check it out and find out the details. If you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe to the video. You will see a bell notification located below. Clicking the bell notification will make sure that you're notified for any future videos that I upload in the future. So this is going to be a rather fun topic, and we're talking about the connection between CBD oil and beer. Now I want to bring this out because I happen to have this in front of me here, and I'll put it in front of the camera. This happens to be one of my favorite styles of beer. This is a German Oktoberfest, and I know there's some variety of different Oktoberfest beers, but I happen to still have this, ironically enough, in the fridge, and I thought it was appropriate to kind of pull this out and talk about this. But we're talking about the astonishing connection between CBD oil and beer. And I'm not talking about putting CBD oil in beer. That's another topic. We're doing something fun today, but what the connection is between the two. And it all goes down to hops, which are used in the beer, and they're primarily used as a bittering agent. So they're used as a bittering agent to kind of balance the sweetness within the beers. And they are a part of the greater cannabis type of family, not as closely related as like the hemp and marijuana, but are kind of part of the greater family there. So what are hops, for those who don't know? Those who are watching this are beer aficionados or homebrewers. I'm one of them. We already know this. But hops are a vining plant that are perennials, and they grow during the summer, and they're very strong and fast-growing plants, and they vine. And you may find them growing wildly in the woods. More than likely, you'll probably see them in like a garden or arboretum of some sort, growing like a trellis or a pergola. And they have these little flowers at the end, little cones. And those little cones are the flowers or the hops. And there's so many different varieties that are out there, but that's essentially what they put into the beer that as a bittering agent. And depending on what part of the world it comes from, it gives a certain flavor profile. Now, the history on hops is interesting because I did some research, and it turns out that they're originally cultivated around like the 8th century Germany. That's kind of like where you started seeing it pop up, as originally being cultivated. As far as that being used in beer, you start seeing it kind of show up more a couple hundred years later as it being used within beer and brewing. And it becomes like a very important part of the brewing process. Again, homebrewers, you know what that part is. I'm being one of them. This isn't a home brewing video, but it's very essential as a part of the beer. And the fact with Germany has a German purity law that essentially says that beer has to be like water, barley, hops, and yeast. And also again, I mentioned that there's different profiles, flavor profiles and aromatic profiles of hops, basically depending on what part of the country you come from. But prior to hops, as a matter of fact, I mean, people would just use whatever's on hand, so they use like other flowers or other different plants that are available. Quick anecdote, I went to a brewery a couple years ago, and I had tried a beer that was called like an antebellum beer, and I think it was just called an antebellum beer because during that time period they didn't really have hops available in America, so the brewers used whatever was on hand, and they used spruce needles to kind of replace what the hops were. I wasn't too sure about it because it smelled like a Christmas tree, but to be honest, after about 3 or 4 sips, it was actually pretty good. So it was interesting. So enough of that anecdote. We're going to go and talk about the aromatic profile of hops. Now, again, it all depends on what part of the world you're from. If you're going with something like this beer here, again, this is the Oktoberfest, and this is going to use German-style hops. Ones that are coming from that part of the world, you're going to find that are going to be less pungent. there'll be some bitterness, but going to be less pungent, but they're going to have like a earthy flavor profile. Versus if you go over to the Americas, the American hops are going to be very unique. They're going to be much more pungent. When I mean pungent, is a stronger bitterness profile, but the flavor and aromatics is just sensational. You're going to pick up a lot of flavors and a lot of smells within the citrus family. So tangerine and lemon and grapefruit and lime, all just a whole variety of different things that are out there. And those are unique to the American hops. Now you'll see ones are going to be a whole lot more, certain more citrus than others. Ones will be a whole lot more bitter than others. But again, it's so unique because depending on what part of the world you're from, they're going to have different flavor profiles. And then of course, with botanists and people within the sciences, they've got so unique of taking, they want to create a hop that has X profiles. So they basically pollinate and take certain varieties to create one that's going to be very pungent or very strong grapefruit, etc. So really unique stuff. And homebrew people, or if you happen to be an IPA hophead, you know exactly what it is, and you can just name off the different varieties. I happen to be like a big Centennial hop fan. That was one I actually grew in my backyard. So again, depending on the part of the world, is going to depend on the flavor profile. Now, we talked about the connection, and they come from the CBD, comes from the same family where the hops come from. And again, the hops don't create CBD, but they happen to have some unique medicinal characteristics. And they happen to be antimicrobial, antioxidative, and that even comes into play of some of the real popular beers. Like if you're drinking an IPA, you see that like on the shelf, it stands for the India Pale Ale. That beer variety was basically developed during some of the trading routes between India and the West. And in that time, obviously, you didn't have refrigeration. So they ended up finding that if they overly hopped those beers, which obviously caused it to be a lot more pungent and more bitter, that was able to not spoil and survive those long journeys. And the reason it was able to survive those long journeys was because of those antimicrobial characteristics. So very unique and very interesting. And another cool thing too I mentioned before I let you go is that there was research in Japan, and they did research and was able to find that hop extracts was able to reduce body fat in healthy, overweight humans. Kind of interesting. Another really cool thing about hops. So I hope this was kind of fun and helpful. I thought it was kind of an interesting topic to kind of throw around in there. The hops and the CBD, they're part of this kind of same family, but you're not going to get CBD from hops. You're not. I hope you don't read that and kind of think that's the case. They just kind of happen to be kind of the same family. I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of bring them out. So that's what it is. It's this astonishing connection between CBD and beer. So there you go. I hope you find this helpful. I hope it was fun. I want to put some fun things out there that you might find interesting. Click the link below to go to the original blog post if you want to see those. And also, if you just want to go to the main link to the blog, click the link to go to mycbdoilsolution.com. There's a lot of CBD related stuff on there, including some other fun facts, buying tips, etc. And make sure you like and subscribe to the videos. That way you can be notified when I upload anything in the future. And again, I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much.